The myocardium is referring to the muscle layers, so everywhere where it's muscular, all the red, that would be myocardium. And then endocardium, again, you can't see that on this model, but it's a membrane that lines the interior chambers of the heart, so I'd ask that as a question also. Okay, now when you're looking at the outside, the pointy part at the bottom is called the apex, and the flat part at the top is called the base. So just the top is the base, the bottom is the apex. The heart has 4 chambers. Yeah. 2 at the top, 2 on the bottom. These 2 at the top are the atria, so 1 atrium, 2 atria. And these at the bottom are the ventricles. On the atria, do you see how on the medial side of the atria they're kind of pointy? It's like these little flap-like things. Those are the atrial appendages. Can you guys see okay? Down here, these are the ventricles. We already did that. Where it says right heart and left heart, that's not going to be a question on the exam. You just need to know the right from the left to be able to tell different parts of the heart. So I'm not going to ask you that, but you need to know it. So this would be the right side, this would be the left side. I have that figured out by now. The interatrial septum is a wall that divides the 2 atria. So I'm pinching it right now. You kind of have to stick your head in the atrium to see it. But this wall that divides the 2 atria is the interatrial septum. The interventricular septum you can see a little bit easier. It's the wall between the 2 ventricles. The 2 valves, the tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve, are these that separate the atria from the ventricles. The one on the right is the tricuspid valve, and the one on the left is the bicuspid valve. For the semilunar valves, you have to look at the outside of the heart first. Okay. This tube coming out here is coming out of the right ventricle. This is the pulmonary trunk. And this tube coming out, it's actually coming from the left ventricle and going out here. This is the aorta. What separates those 2 vessels from the ventricles are the semilunar valves. So, because this one is going, see how it's going to the pulmonary trunk? It's like the base of the pulmonary trunk. This is a pulmonary semilunar valve. And this one is going to the aorta, and this is the aortic semilunar valve.
What is, say that again?
See what I'm like pinching it right now? It's this valve right here. So this is the aortic, this is the pulmonary. Yeah, one goes behind the other one. The pulmonary semilunar valve, this one, on the models, numbers 101, 102, and 103.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And the aortic semilunar valve is number 104, 105, and 106. The chordae tendineae are these little cords of tendon that are hanging off of those bicuspid and tricuspid valve. So they're the stringy parts. And they attach the valves to these things, which are called papillary muscles.
So they would be 76 and 77.
76, 77, 68, 69. They're just the big finger-like projections coming out of the front wall of the ventricle and the back wall of the ventricle too. The trabeculae carnae are all these other ridges on the walls of the ventricle. See how it's kind of looks like a network or like a sponge almost? That's the trabeculae carnae.
Oh, so they're on left, right, and left.
Pectinate muscles are in the front wall of the atrium. So there's the atrium. We open it up and look in the front wall. These are the pectinate muscles. The fossa ovalis is on the interatrial septum. When you're a fetus, it's an actual hole called the foramen ovalis, but when you're born, it's supposed to close. which it doesn't always, so, but it's supposed to.
Is that what a heart murmur is?
A heart murmur is actually when one of these valves doesn't close, usually this one. If it doesn't close all the way, you get backflow. This is when you hear somebody being, like they say, oh, he was born with a hole in his heart.
Oh.
That's what they mean by that. But you're gonna have to each kind of come in here and stick your head in the right atrium and look for number 81 and kind of feel it, because you can't really see it from this view. So I'll leave you to do that afterwards, but it's number 81. Skip the conduction system for a minute. We'll do that in 1 second. The ligamentum arteriosum is this little tiny connection between the pulmonary trunk and the aorta. See this little tiny flap right there?
What's the number?
There is no number on this one. It does look better on this heart because they painted it blue. Right there. That's the ligamentum arteriosum too. That also, when you're a fetus, is a tube that connects the pulmonary circulation to the aorta, because when you're a fetus you're not breathing, so you don't really need to use that pulmonary circulation, so you can bypass it. Yeah, it's just that little thing. I like this one better for it because it's easier to see what I'm pointing at for that. Okay, so now we can go back to the conduction system.
That's going from the pulmonary to the aorta?
Yep, it allows the fetus to bypass the pulmonary. Would you hand me the clear part? Okay, for the conduction system, we're going to talk about the function of it during lecture, eventually. So I'm just going to show you what the parts are right now. And they go in order. Okay, so they're all connected. It's the way that electricity or electrical action potentials can travel throughout the heart. And we start at the SA node, which is in the upper corner of the right atrium, where those two lines intersect. Can you see all the way back there? It's the SA node.
Yellow line?
It's right where those two little lines connect. The intersection of those two yellow lines. I wish they had a circle there for it, but they don't. See? So that's the SA node. The AV node, they do have a circle for it. It's at the base. That's the right atrium. That's the AV node.
It's the base of the what?
It's at the base of the right atrium. It's that little circle.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys see all the way back there? Okay. Leaving from the AV node, we have something called the bundle of His, or the AV bundle, which is this thing right here, that yellow line. The AV bundle. Those lead to the bundle branches, which run straight down the interventricular septum. So that's the bundle branches. And then the last part of it would be the Purkinje fibers, which are all the ones on the outside. All the little fibers, the little yellow things outside. Those are Purkinje.
Okay, I have just the tiny ones that go up and around.
All of these out here.
Like sometimes I definitely
Okay, so now you have everything identified. I would definitely recommend studying these really, really hard today so that you know them without even looking at your book before you go, because next week we're starting on arteries and veins, and you're going to be so bogged down with arteries and veins. It's probably the hardest part of this whole